Today I wanted to talk about something different. Instead of doing a movie review, I wanted to talk briefly about some stuff that's been circling the news here. Is they've been talking more about this PG-13 cut that they're doing for Deadpool 2. They were recently talking about what they're going to do and how they're going to change it to PG-13. They've been saying that they'll, you know, obviously bleep out some of the swear words, edit some scenes, maybe do some reshoots. I can't think of it like any, off the top of my head, I can't think of any scenes in general that could be like almost, that you have to like completely scrap. I can't think of anything that might not be salvageable. But the idea of reshooting scenes or maybe shooting new scenes is interesting. We're not sure exactly who they would be bringing back from the cast. Obviously, Ryan Reynolds is going to be involved in this to some extent. They are completely filming the Princess Bride stuff with Fred Savage. And I mean, if I'm being honest, you don't even really need Ryan Reynolds that much, because you don't need him in the suit if he's not going to be. You only really need him if he's going to be taken off the suit, because you could do it where you get somebody who's the same height as Ryan Reynolds and about the same weight, and you put him in the suit, and then you have Reynolds come in for voiceover work, come to a booth and just record whatever line of dialogue they wanted in that moment, which is something that I actually think they said that they did for Deadpool 2. That was like the benefit. They mentioned that was the benefit of wearing the mask the whole time, is they could go back and edit out dialogue and say something else that might have fit. Of course, it was still Ryan Reynolds in the suit for most of the, non-action fight scene stuff where a stunt double might have taken over. But I think it's very interesting, this PG-13 cut, especially now that it seems like they're putting more effort into it. They're putting more effort to make this its own unique thing that will stand by itself, so to speak. I wonder, there were also some rumors that they might connect it with Deadpool 1 a little bit, like rework some stuff in Deadpool 1, so it's almost like this is completely organic, own thing, its own story. With the story of Deadpool 1 in there. It's so hot in here. Got too much hair. And the whole reason they were talking about doing this too is they wanted to connect to this other audience that they might have missed for, because you don't get your entire audience when you make your movie R-rated. So a certain amount of your audience isn't able to go to the movie because they're not old enough. But also, a part of me wonders if this has anything to do with the upcoming Disney-Fox merger. This is still admittedly this merger deal thing is still admittedly years away, but I wonder if this is like an early reactionary thing, kind of, where Fox is there saying, like, yeah, see, this character, he can still work in your watered down PG-13 world. He can still work, he can still play, we can still, he can still be in these movies and make more. And it can also be kind of a sign to fans. Some fans who might be against a PG-13 Deadpool 2, they can now say, like, okay, well, this PG-13 cut of Deadpool 2, it worked, so maybe I would be a little more okay with a Deadpool 3 that was completely PG-13, or Deadpool in an X-Force movie where the X-Force movie is rated PG-13, or so on. Whatever future appearances of Deadpool that there might be that might not be PG-13, if everything is going over and switching to Disney. Now, I don't know how this Disney-Fox merger thing is going to work out exactly either. I would hope. I mean, I think maybe Fox could still exist in some way, just owned and controlled by Marvel. I think that would be one of the best options because, I mean, Fox would still exist being controlled by Disney, not Marvel. It would still be controlled by Disney. I think that would be the best. That would be one of the best options, in my opinion, at least, because you could still have the Fox characters you wanted. They could still show up in the MCU movies, like they could introduce a new Wolverine, have him show up in Avengers and whatnot, and then Fox, Fox, aka Disney, could still keep going, making their side of things switch to more, Fox could be the more adult side of Disney that's like hidden with the Fox logo, so to speak. And also something I haven't seen a lot of people talk about is what this means with Star Wars, because Fox still has some type of stake or control or maybe distribution rights or something with the original 6 movies, because you see the 20th Century Fox logo in front of all those movies. So I don't know what that means for that either. And there's still a lot of these X-Men Fox movies that are supposed to be coming in the future. You got Dark Phoenix and New Mutants. Those were both pushed back a lot. We've seen a trailer for New Mutants. We've seen a trailer for both New Mutants and Dark Phoenix. But at this point, I'm gonna expect that New Mutants isn't gonna be anything like that trailer, because I think this is like extensive reshoots they're doing for New Mutants. And New Mutants had their trailer out first, and Dark Phoenix is now coming out first, so that's interesting. But besides those 2 movies, James Mangold, who did The Wolverine and then Logan, I think he wants to do an X-23 movie, probably with Daphne Keane returning. There was also talk about Tim Miller, who did the first Deadpool. He wants to do a Kitty Pryde movie. Probably not Ellen Page coming back, and someone else, I don't remember who, probably no one important. They want to do a multiple man movie with James Franco, I think, as the lead, which is a pretty good casting in my opinion for that character. And then also, going back to New Mutants, there's supposed to be 2 more New Mutants movies. It's supposed to be a trilogy, with each movie in the trilogy is going to be its own different type of horror movie. So I thought that was a very interesting concept for how they would handle that trilogy of movies. And then you still probably have more contracts coming up with the cast here. Like you only just recently brought in the people like Sophie Turner. I can't remember any. The Cyclops, Jean Grey, Storm, Nightcrawler. Those 4 people that were the new additions in Apocalypse. They still probably have maybe 1 or 2 movies left in their contracts. That's something that they probably want to keep going. And you gotta think of the older cast now: the McAvoy, Fassbender, Jennifer Lawrence. What are their contracts looking like now here too? Because at this point, this is their 4th movie they've going on. Did they sign something up new after their 3, or maybe they had a longer contract to begin with, and they're gonna keep going here. I don't know. It's interesting. I would like I said, I'm a fan of the X-Men stuff. I've always liked the X-Men stuff more than I've liked the MCU stuff, even though not every X-Men movie is perfect, but I still enjoy it more. I don't really want the X-Men to, just be taken over and swept in and put into Disney. And I would really just rather they keep going with their stuff. I mean, yeah, they haven't been perfect, but they still made a lot better movies. In my opinion, like no MCU movie has been as good as no MCU movie has been as good as Logan. It's Logan's one of the best superhero movies, up there with Dark Knight. MCU hasn't done anything that touches those movies, in my opinion. And besides just Logan, X-Men 1 and 2 were great. Days of Future Past was great. Uh, Deadpool 2 was really good. X-Men First Class was really good. And still, even the bad ones aren't that bad. You know, Apocalypse was okay. X-Men Apocalypse was okay. The Wolverine was good. What else am I missing here? Last Stand was pretty bad. And the Wolverine was, I mean, Origins Wolverine was enjoyable, I guess. So it's been more positive than it has negative in the Fox stuff. Just like it's been more positive than negative in the MCU, but I think the difference is that the positives in the Fox is much more stronger than the positives in the negative. I mean, it's very hot here. The positives within the Fox movies have been stronger than the positives within the MCU movies. So the Fox's highs are much higher than the MCU's highs, in my opinion. So that's why I would want the Fox stuff to keep going, and I hope that when this deal does go through, which I guess it's like final at this point, like it's definitely going to happen. It's just going to be, 1 or 2 years in the future before it's all official. But I hope when this happens that Fox gets to still exist in some extent and still make these movies just under the whole entire banner of Disney, which probably not, because Disney wants everything, and they're gonna scrap everything and try and push everything under their thing, just like they're doing with the Netflix stuff. They're gonna cancel all their Netflix MCU shows and put them on that stupid streaming service no one wants. But whatever. That is what it is.